Okay, welcome back, folks. Today we're going to be shooting the Berger 30 caliber 200.20x hybrid target. We're going to shoot 300 Win Mag. Our powder is going to be H1000 H1000. The primer is going to be a Federal GM 215M, and the brass is some beautiful once fired Peterson. These bullets were sent to me 73 years ago by a longtime supporter that goes by Big E. He wanted to see him in 300 Win Mag, and he wanted to see me do some load development methods that are a little different than my standard traditional ways. And if you've been watching my recent videos, you'll know we've kind of been playing around with some different things. So I'm hoping that this video is a start of trying to gather my thoughts on this and come up with a test format for that first range trip. Now, one of the things we've been messing around with is the 10-shot load development, where you load up 10 rounds with different charge weights, go out and shoot them, and then create a chart like this. And you look for areas where the velocity is not changing much as the charge weight changes. Looking for flat spots, looking for plateaus, and the theory goes that these will represent a forgiving region of charge weights where if we're a little bit low, if we're a little bit high, our muzzle velocity is not going to change and we've got a forgiving load. Now, a lot of different ways to attack this method as inadequate. You don't really know what sort of extreme spread you're looking at this point, so you don't really know how much to trust the numbers you got, plus you don't really get good information about accuracy potential. So let's build on it. What if we did 3 of these and did it at 3 different overall lengths? That's the plan for today. So that's 30 shots, and I'm hoping that maybe at the end we can make some guesses about overall length and charge weight. And just for the heck of it, we'll try to shoot a group with each of the overall lengths and just see what they look like. So here's what that load data looks like. 10 different charge weights, 3 different overall lengths. 1 shot for each combination. Now, on top of this, the gun is clean and I haven't shot it in a while, so I'd like to check my zero. So I want to load up 5 shots at the middle overall length and around the middle charge weight. Did that just make things confusing? Hopefully not. So looking up charge weights was a little bit confusing. I think the Berger manual is older than this bullet, so there's nothing in there that I could find, at least for 300 Win Mag. There might be 308 data. Is this still a kind of state-of-the-art bullet in 308? I'm not sure. Like right there on the box, it says that it's the official bullet of the US FTR team. So those of you that shoot FTR, let me know, is this still state of the art? I'm not sure. So I had the Sierra manual with data for their 200 grain bullets. I looked at the Berger data for their 190, and Hodgson had some data for some 200 grain bullets. So just tried to make an educated decision, and that's what I came up with. Now, as far as the overall lengths go, I checked in my gun, and the max overall length, the overall length where I hit the rifling is around 3.673. So I backed down to 3.650 as our max. So that's just a little over, so it's 23 thousandths off the lands. And I decided to jump 50 thousandths because that shortest overall length at 3.550, that's where the base of the bearing surface, like the start of the boat tail, is right at the neck-shoulder junction in the case. So 3.550 to 3.650 seemed to be a pretty good, range of interest to focus in on. So that's the basics of the test. This is my second time filming this part of this video. I sat down to edit it and it was so confusing to follow. I'm hoping maybe this chart, did I do a chart or something? Some sort of a grid, maybe you understand. Maybe it's a little easier to follow what's going on out there. So I did film some of the reloading portions, but it was very straightforward, didn't run into any problems. I used a 306 expanding mandrel on the necks, so that's where our neck tension's at. We're not really worrying about that in today's test. So that's the basics of it. Let's go ahead and get to the range and get back here because we got a lot to talk about from the results. So yeah, let's get to the range. So I installed a bag rider on this chassis. This is the first chance I'm going to have to use it, and man, it feels good. It allows me to move the bag quite a bit farther forward, which gives my chest and my shoulder and all that stuff more room. I guess we'll start, the 5 sighters I have loaded up. Let's go ahead and just see if we can shoot a group. It's been a while since we've had it out, but it should be zeroed or something pretty close to it. This will be the first 300 Win Mag rounds through my Omega 36M suppressor, so hopefully it doesn't go flying apart. 100 yards. First shot felt great, 29-30. That's pretty smoking. Nothing weird on the brass. Uh-oh. That shot felt perfect. I actually thought it went through the same hole for a second. I wasn't even looking up that high. I know I don't have my target camera pointed that high, I don't think. Might as well check. Yeah, I don't see anything going on. Let's keep shooting. Okay, back down there with the first. Tell you what I didn't do. I didn't actually look at my suppressor end cap. Can't see anything from the outside on the end cap, so if anything went on in there, it's not visible from the outside. 2 more to go. Alright, 3.5 inch groups are not what I've got in mind for this gun. So I must admit I'm concerned. Well, I need to go down there and probably widen out the shot on my camera. I'll inspect the bullet holes, maybe see if they're showing any instability going through that poster board. Weird. I guess to finish out that last group, it was a, what, 3.3 inch group. Those 4 were 1.85 inches, and then that's 1.27. Not good any way you look at it. And I bet if it's going to get better, it's about to get better right now, because our first 10 shots, I want to start with the longest ones. These are 20 to 25 thousandths off the lands, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if this tightened up dramatically. So let's find out. I'm just going to single feed everything today. And for a couple reasons. One, it would be super confusing trying to load a magazine. But for another, this Savage hasn't really loaded very well off the magazine in my tests with it so far, so I need to adjust the feed lips on them at some point. Even bought a little tool to help do it. Just never got around to doing it. Not going to happen today, though. Alright, let's keep going. I'm not even going to call out all the charge weights. And I have no idea how I'm going to put this data on the screen somehow. So good luck to future me trying to edit this. Trying to pace myself, but still I kind of need to take a deliberate break here, I think, after 5 rounds. This is more promising. Yeah, those best 4 are into 0.77 inches. So it looks like there's hope. The other reason I need to be careful about barrel heat is because this suppressor cover is for my Omega 300 and it doesn't quite cover the whole 36M. It's all good though, right? Best to keep the gun cool. It'll give us better results. All right, here we go. Holy crap. It is dead calm right now. Like totally and completely calm. And I can't see much of anything. Everything's blurry. And if I just blow down the side of the barrel, it all clears up for a minute. Getting a little bit of primer cratering. But I went back, this gun just does it a little bit anyway, or it did with our starting load here. It's a big old bullet to be going 3,000 feet per second. You know what, I'm going to look back and just see it. Look at some of my previous velocities. Yeah, we took the 185 Berger hybrid target up to 3159 and I didn't blow my face off. But yeah, just going back looking at some of my factory ammo velocities. 190 grain gold medal match, 2912 out of this gun. 195 grain Hornady, 2934. And we shot 2803 with Mark 248 Mod 1. So that's 220 grain Sierra Match King. So we're pretty close to the ceiling here, like got 4 more shots. So maybe we won't make it all the way to the end. .30-19. Good grief. Things are just spraying all over the place, aren't they? Our velocity's pretty much plateaued. Okay. So bolt lift was good throughout. That last velocity was 30-60. Man, we are catching some crazy shots. At least it looks like it's kind of trying to group. So, the total 10 shots there was 2.84 inches. Let's hide that one. Brings us to 1.91, 1.66. Yeah, so I guess the best 7 went into an inch. Maybe there's something to ignoring accuracy during testing like this, you know? Yeah, Mirage is killing me after like 1 or 2 shots because the air is like totally calm right now. I'm almost tempted to go get a little fan just to set to the side, keep the air from getting stale. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so now I've got a fan gently blowing on low. That ought to help. Okay, this is our middle overall length, roughly 3.6 inches. So this is the overall length I had used on that first group. Interesting to see that it's also climbing way up high as we approach that, you know, that charge weight we were shooting over there. Guess I might as well just bring the target down a little bit more. And then back up. Man, that's so weird. 4 and 5 being close like that had me hoping for a second. Okay, so in general, a little bit lower velocity with that overall length. So looks like we caught a minor amount of vertical spread. Like, that's just nuts, right? Looking at this, like, I want to stay as far away from this overall length as we possibly can. I don't care how good velocity graphs might look, which just kind of eyeballing, it looks like velocity was a little bit all over the place. All right, a couple minutes to cool down the gun. We'll move on. Okay, last up is our shortest overall length, 3.550. Same charge weights. Let's see what happens. Tell you what, it is awesome shooting this gun. After shooting my heavier AR triggers so much lately, it's nice to get back to something that's nice and light and easy to shoot, you know? You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. I'm not zooming in. Ain't no way I'm going to jinx it. It's lagging behind a good bit in velocity too. Wow. Crap. That's okay though. You know, shot 2, 3, and 4. I think those are the first 3 consecutive shots we've seen stacked like that. So maybe it gives us a bit of a starting point. Even worse. I don't know if it's the bag rider. I think it's a big part of it, but like the recoil's not bothering me today. I'm feeling pretty comfortable behind the gun. Now let me get back to the bench, make some charts and graphs, and we'll try and talk this out a little bit. Tell you what, that bag rider made all the difference in the world. Pretty much a required accessory, if you ask me. Trying to run with just this little bit there sucked. It was super annoying, so yeah, being able to get back and clear the bag for shoulder clearance and everything was super awesome. So I can't wait for a day when I can actually shoot some good groups. I think this is going to help. Today was not good groups, so let's try and take this analysis one step at a time. The brass, this piece is from our fastest shot of the day, 3,060 feet per second, a little bit of primer cratering, but overall everything looked okay. No, my cat has not tried to murder me. It's like every time I get my hands healed up, I end up tearing them up again. I was clearing some brush yesterday. I got it all the way up here. Look at this. My land is like a freaking jungle. I'm trying to get it straightened out. All right, so let's look at the chart. Kind of a confusing mess, but my eye is immediately drawn to that 77.4 to 77.7 region right there. All three overall lengths seem to be pretty quiet. And it was interesting to see that velocity really drop as our overall length got shorter. Let's isolate them real quick one at a time. So 3.650. So the same good spot we were just talking about extends all the way down to our 76.8 grain load. And there's only 11 feet per second of extreme spread there between those four shots. So I guess the rest we would call inconclusive. Down there at the bottom, 75.3 and 75.6 were about the same. So if we move on to the next one, 77.1 to 77.7, looks pretty good. Nothing else. I mean, I guess maybe 75.6 to 75.9 down there, not too bad. And moving on to the last one here, 3.550, just about every shot seems to be part of one flat region or another, which with I guess the best ones there, 76.2 up to 77.1. So back to all three, and that's what we get. Now that one group of ciders we shot at the beginning did give us a standard deviation to look at there at 77.0 grains. If you remember, those were on those would be on the red line at the middle overall length, and our extreme spread was 47 feet per second and standard deviation of 18.0. But unfortunately, when we look at this chart, that was right in the middle of a pretty big jump from 29.58 up to 29.93. So our average velocity with those was 29.56. It was 77. I don't know why I just didn't shoot 77.1 or 76.8. I'm a bit of an idiot. Now all that velocity talk is pretty straightforward. I'm not sure if it's useful. I'm not convinced it is, but we at least kind of know what we're looking for. On the accuracy side of things, this is sopping wet. I forgot to pull my target yesterday, and then it was like torrential downpour. Whatever, it's fine. So I've circled our three groups. So that's our long overall length, our medium, and our short. I don't know about you, but the long overall length looks a heck of a lot better than the other two. Not only are we not losing these up high, except for that little guy, but just in general, it seems to be wanting to group more than any of the others. But if you remember, our short overall length group, weren't these five? These were our first five shots right here. Pretty good little group. We'll go to shot marker here in just a second, and I'll verify that, but I think that's correct. Now, if I had my head screwed on straight, I would have shot all of these at a single dot. If I had just the 30 shot group, it would be a lot easier to get some more information that I think might be useful. Because, you know, here we have it by overall length, but for our first charge weight, well, it's 75.3 grains. There's one shot here, one shot here, one shot here. But even if I go into shot marker and identify which shot it was, which I did, I've got it on the screen right there. That's this one. I need a Sharpie. So that's, let's see, that's this one, and that one. I think it would be useful to know that group size for that charge weight. And except for eyeballing, you know, good combinations where all three lined up reasonably well, can't really get any good solid numbers. The next time I run this test, I want to get good solid numbers. I want to shoot at one dot so we can evaluate this a little bit better. Now that turns this into a test that you can't really do without shot marker, but that's okay. The data may be meaningless anyway. I just want to get it because I've got the capability, right? But just in general, if this target is all I had brought back from the range, I would be thinking long overall length. Let's try some longer stuff. Maybe this needs to be even closer to the lands, or maybe we've even got to jam it to find consistent groups with this bullet. I don't know. Like this is overall pretty disappointing, right? I mean, another possibility here is that we just say, okay, this is really bad. Maybe there's some potential, but the better use of our components would be to just move on to a different powder. Let's look at shot marker for just a second. And like I said, here are those three shots. That would be 75.3 grains. Now this is going to be tedious to go through, but I'm going to give it a shot. I want to see if there's any of the three shot groups that look good. So far, these first two, they look awful, right? I might have found something interesting here. So what's visible is the fourth and fifth shot of each group. So this is 76.2 grains and 76.5 grains. So 1, 3, and 5 would be a three-shot group of that charge weight, and 2, 4, and 6 would be the next group. In every other case of looking at it this way by charge weight, there was always 1 or 2 that had really bad flyers. These two charge weights were the only ones that had shots that looked this good. Okay, so if we take those two charge weights, 76.2 and 76.5, let's go back to our velocities graph, 76.2 to 76.5. Okay, so the blue, the long overall length looks pretty good, but the green, the short overall length looks really good there as well. Are we onto something here, or is this a waste of time? I'm not sure. I think we need to keep going. Here's my plan. I'd like to do this exact same test with the 130 grain Berger and IMR 4451 in 6.5 Creedmoor. Just did some videos with this bullet with Vitivory in 555 and it was insane. The groups were tiny from my 6.5 Creedmoor AR-10. So I know this is a good bullet, and I know this powder has given me a lot of success with my Thompson Center Compass 6.5 Creedmoor. So I have every confidence that the groups in this video will look a lot better than we saw today. So actually, I think this is the one I'll do next. Another combination I want to do is the 169 grain Sierra Match King that I've never shot before, and I want to try it in my 308 AR-10 with AR comp. The 168 grain bullet has been shooting amazing in that gun, so I'm hoping this new 169 will be good as well. So maybe the data from today and the data from these two videos will be enough to kind of look and see, are we learning something? Are there patterns we can learn from, or are we just wasting our time? We might be wasting our time. I don't think so though. So another thing I've thought about doing is instead of doing 10 charge weights at 3 overall lengths, maybe I could drop it down to 5 charge weights and do it at 5 overall lengths. So a 25 shot test, 5 charge weights, 5 overall lengths. Should be pretty straightforward to just make a spreadsheet that looks for, for any given combination of overall length and charge weight, what was the average group size. I could do some, conditional formatting so that it turns green, yellow, red, whether it's good or bad, and that spreadsheet could get as fancy as we want it to. So if I went to 5 overall lengths and 5 shots, so that's 25 shots. What if I did it at 2 different neck tensions? We'll just feed this spreadsheet more and more information and see what it spits out. It's going to quickly just become a confusing mess if it's not already a confusing mess. But I think it's worth looking into. So at least here with 300 Win Mag, I think what we'll do is we'll wait for Big E to watch the video. We'll see what he thinks down in the comments. I'll pin his comment if I can. We'll let him guide the ship here. We can talk about it some more on tomorrow night's live stream. I really don't want to wait till next Sunday to get some of these other videos out. So after the comments on this video and the discussion tomorrow on the live stream, I'm going to try and move quick and get a video out earlier this coming week. Yeah, this is fun. I'm feeling good. I'm interested. I think we happened to start on a bullet where, if we go back to our target, there's something there, right? I think there's a good load with this bullet and this gun, but it's dynamic, right? Like there's definitely bad stuff to stay away from. So it's kind of the perfect combination to explore this. And he sent me a whole other full box. So we've got enough bullets to play with, and it should be a fun investigation. I'll tell you another thing I'll bring up, just talking about, expansion of the test. Maybe I go to 2 shots for each charge weight and overall length. 5 overall lengths, 5 charge weights, 2 shots per combination. That would be a 50 shot range trip. I kind of like that. Maybe down the road we find it's unnecessary. We could scale back to 1 shot, but maybe 2 would give us, more confidence in our velocity graphs. Yeah, this is going to be fun. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. Did I cover everything? Is there anything else? Nope, that's good enough. See you guys next time.